Good morning. I would love to know what people think about fake news media and these individual stories that fake news media present. About Trump, for instance. They tell stories about Trump. Do people buy it? I would love to know this. There was a story this morning about this small town in the south of Sweden called Landskrona. They had some huge problems lately, and last night there was this big explosion. The city council hall, and the fake news media, they had this reporter on site, and he was asking questions to this liberal politician who's in charge of the town. And the reporter asked the politician, "How do you feel about this?" And the politician, he looked a bit stressed out, really. He didn't look well. And he said, as they usually say these days, he said, "It's totally unacceptable." And then he said that crime has dropped lately in this town. And this is very, very hard to believe. And I want to know, what do people think about this? That's what they usually do, these politicians in charge. They have this trend. Crime is going up, and then they have a little dip or something. And then they will say, we have reversed the trend. We are doing a good job. People should feel safe. People don't feel safe when things blow up in a small town. Right. And there was another story, and this made me happy because this was the EU Commission who conducted a survey. I love it when they conduct surveys. It's always fun. They want to tell people what to think, right? And sometimes they use surveys. And this is a survey about what issue is most important to the Europeans. And 34% say that immigration is the most pressing problem. And then you know that it's probably maybe 50 or 60%, 34%. And they said it's down by 6% from last year. Now this is a joke, isn't it? Well, it's probably up by 12 or something. Or do you actually think that people in Europe are now more relaxed about immigration? It's impossible. But the EU Commission, they want this issue to go down. And that's what they did in their survey. They want it at the bottom of the list. But it's still at the top of the list, immigration. And now, for the first time, climate change jumped to the second most important concern, with 22% of these people responding, saying that this is the most important issue, climate change. And I think this is interesting. This is the issue that they want on top of the list. They have been doing this propaganda. For the last year, it's been ridiculous. I know it's the same, more or less, in all European countries. Fake news media, they keep talking about the climate change, anything relating to the climate. So they use all this time and effort to make this the top issue. And they want people to forget about immigration. But still, immigration is top of the list in their own survey. So reality is more important to people than this fake news propaganda bullshit. And then it's Trump. I don't know what it's like where you live, but here in Sweden, the AntiTrump rhetoric has increased lately. I don't know why. Maybe it's because the election in the United States is getting closer. And I would love to know what it's like where you live. Because here in Sweden it's crazy. They talk about Trump all the time. How bad he is. And how unpopular he is. And again, I want to know, what do people actually think about these stories? is it even possible to be, for a president to be this unpopular? That, you know, and he's still going to win the election. He won the last one. He was so unpopular and he still won. Do people actually think about this? I would love to know this. Yeah. This morning they talked about Trump visiting El Paso, Texas and Dayton, Ohio. And they said something like, oh, you know, Trump has to go. Yeah, he's forced to go there, even though he's very unpopular in these areas. And then you look at the truth and you will know, you will understand that he's quite popular in these areas. But according to fake news media here in Sweden, he's so unpopular that, and still he was forced to go there. You see what I mean? Yeah, it's so silly. All right, that's all. Be good. Bye.